There's an L in that word.
Yes, there is an L. Speaking of L's, we should get on to sport. I don't know. Do you have any other sport
Yeah, I
news?
have a little
Yeah.
bit of sport. I'll quickly run
Okay.
through it. Mainly football based, if I'm honest, with one bit of boxing. So football, Benfica's president got arrested during the week for tax fraud, I believe, along with some of his backroom staff as well. So that's fun. Benfica in the mud. Um, Messi, Messi has agreed to stay at Barcelona and cut his wages in half. However, Barcelona still can't sign him. They still need to wait for some players to leave, basically, to free up some space in their wage budget. So it looks like Messi's going to be staying at Barcelona, but they do need to release some players to be able to get him in the first place. Donnarumma has, after his victorious display at the Euros, has signed with PSG. He became a free agent after he didn't want to renew his contract at AC Milan. Let the contract run down. So in that case, a bargain for PSG. In wages, not so much. I believe it's costing PSG about 60 million. I think is over like 4 years or something. And a ridiculous amount of money going to his agent. This now does mean that PSG have only 9 senior goalkeepers. So not quite the full
Only.
start 11 yet, but they've only
Only
got
nine.
9.
No more than 9, no less than 9. They have 9. 9 senior goal. That's nothing. It's nothing.
But it also could be a huge waste for Donnarumma, as there were reports saying that PSG have no plans on dropping Keylor Navas. So Donnarumma may be going to PSG just to sit on the bench, which is a huge waste of his talent, because although I hated the fact that he's a good goalkeeper last Sunday, he is an incredibly good goalkeeper, and he is only 22 years old, I believe. So there's a huge time ahead of him, and game time will just help him improve even further, and he could easily be the best goalkeeper in the world in a few years' time.
I agree.
And if he's not going to be playing week in, week out, it does seem such a waste, especially because he was adored at AC Milan and was guaranteed to have that starting spot. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Real shame.
And before we talk about that dreadful day last Sunday, Fury versus Wilder 3 has been rescheduled for the 9th of October. We, for some reason, have to watch these two fight again. It was due to be taking place on the 24th of July, so in 9 days' time in Las Vegas, but was postponed after Fury tested positive for coronavirus. So it will now take place in October.
Yeah. Well, now we get to the hardest part. I'm over it now. I'll be honest. I'm very much over it. I feel like the aftertaste of the racism from the minority have kind of just killed. I'm in full support of these players now. But we'll start off with Copa America. It was Argentina versus Brazil. Messi finally has his win, his trophy for international football.
Yes, he has a major international trophy.
The scumbag Angel Di Maria scored in the 22nd minute to end the game 1-0 for Argentina. I did not watch the game, sadly, so
because it was on at 2 a.m.
Yeah,
so
yeah. But it happened. Awesome. I feel there's not much insight I can say about this. It's nice for these, for Argentina. It's nice for Messi.
To both have an international trophy.
Yeah. I have nothing else to say. Euros, let's go. I feel really bad for all the South American fans, everyone, Central American, but I genuinely don't know what else to say. Argentina won. I haven't really kept up with the tournament. So, yeah. Euros time. It came home, but the trophy did not. Like we explained last week, the meaning of it's coming home, because a lot of people didn't understand. Go back and watch it. We'll say it for the views. But England went 1-0 up really early on through Luke Shaw. 2 minutes in, like crazy start. But typical Gareth Southgate. This was the time to start someone like Grealish. You need that creativity. We scored so early on. We needed to keep that momentum going. We needed to attack, and we didn't do that.
And not to make too much comment, but the way the Italians were defending in a more, let's say, aggressive manner, someone like Grealish would have done a world of good of winning
100%.
so many free kicks around their area to attack with, and maybe even forcing a player to be sent off with forcing fouls out of them, which would have completely changed the game.
Yeah, there are a couple. I won't. It makes me sound a bit salty, but there are a couple incidents in this game from Italian players that I saw as maybe a little more than a yellow card, and probably these were players that should have been booked beforehand, and then when they did these big challenges, which were almost reds, probably not in the rule books, but they looked pretty bad. They probably should have already been on a yellow, so it probably should have been sending offs anyway. But Italy were the better team. We're not going to sit here and say they weren't. Well,
so there was a good 20
was...
minutes in the second half where they definitely dominated us. When Chiesa was looking very good. I think if it wasn't for Chiesa getting injured during that second half, I think Italy would have won it before the final whistle. I could definitely see them scoring again. But I think first off, we played really well and looked quite confident, but we didn't really come out of the blocks in the second half, and it definitely cost us.
Yeah, Bonucci scored in the 67th minute. England basically really fucked that up. It was all over the place, the defending for that goal. Mainly... but it was coming. It was coming. We can't say it wasn't coming. I think Italy were by far the most dominant team in the whole game, but second half they were by far most dominant team. First half was pretty 50-50. I'd say extra time, England were pretty much all over them. I don't think Italy were that great in extra time. And then it came down to penalties, and how heartbreaking were these penalties. I think this was a poor decision by Gareth Southgate. I love Rashford. I think Sancho's great. I feel so bad for Saka, but we'll get there as well. But he never should have brought on Rashford and Sancho. He should have at least given them extra time to have run on the pitch to gain their confidence. You know, Rashford, like, obviously been battling with injury. He's a good penalty taker. But when he hasn't been playing, he needs to be running on the pitch. He needs to have that confidence. You throw him on to take one kick.
Not even when he hasn't played at all. Just in that game, like, there's no problem with choosing someone like Rashford for a penalty because he is Man United's penalty taker. He is taking some great penalties. But to come on with 2 minutes to go, where I think the only time he touched the ball was actually making a challenge to clear the ball from right back, that's not... It's not set you up well to take a penalty. You need to have that feel of the ball on your boot, and they definitely should have been. Well, they should have been brought on earlier, but you couldn't bring them on earlier because they were taking defensive players off. So I kind of see why it was left late. But for me, if you're going to have someone taking a penalty, they need to have time to get that feel for the ball.
I don't think they should have come on at all. I'll be really honest. But my point was, if he was going to bring him on, he should have brought him on for the whole of extra time, so they just had that time to get on the pitch. I feel really bad for Saka, but at the same time, he didn't look confident at all. So this is another Southgate error in giving him the final penalty, putting all that pressure on this young boy to take the final penalty. It should have been Grealish or Sterling, you know, and then make Saka take one, you know, if it goes to sudden death, which it would have done. Make him take one. Pickford was great in the penalty shootout.
All props to Pickford. He's been amazing for the whole tournament, to be fair to him.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I know Donnarumma had a really good tournament as well, but I'm surprised Pickford wasn't the goalkeeper of the tournament, just simply because I don't think Donnarumma did anything in the game that Pickford didn't do.
Because he had the most clean
sheets.
sheets.
Is there even an official Golden Glove? I thought there wasn't an official one for the tournament.
I thought there is.
I don't know. But yeah, one omission I will talk about for the Team of the Euros. Luke Shaw wasn't in it. I'm pretty sure Luke Shaw wasn't in it, but Kyle Walker was. And I think that's a bit of a joke because Luke Shaw was by far one of our best players in this tournament. So it's a strange one for me. It's a very, I'd say, not to be United biased, but our best players were Maguire, Shaw, and I don't want to say him because I criticise him a lot, Sterling, and Grealish. When Grealish came on, he was good, but I can't. He didn't play enough, to be in a team of the season, team of the Euros. Sorry, but yeah, it was heartbreaking for us, obviously, but we're over it now, kinda, sorta. World Cup next year. Shit place, shit time.
That's when it really comes. When it really comes.
Really comes. Yes. Well, comes home to Qatar. That's what coming. Oh God. But yeah, we move on, innit? There's not much you can do about it. All props to Italy, although, like I said last week, there's a bit of hypocrisy with all the fans supporting Italy, considering all of the racial incidents that have been happening there, but we won't talk about that because we've got our own racial instance that happened that we brought up earlier. As expected, because Rashford, Sancho and Saka are all black footballers, they got racially abused online by, guess what? People without names. Yeah, it was really bad. The England fans as a whole, obviously there were millions of people, we're not going to, but there were England fans rushing into Wembley. Harry Maguire's father apparently suffered possible broken ribs due to this. Someone was having a seizure on camera. Ridiculous. Leicester Square was trashed. We were in Leicester Square the day before this happened, and it was busy, but there wasn't.
It's ridiculous. The pictures from afterwards.
Yeah, so ridiculous, honestly. And all these people should be ashamed. I don't agree with the fact people are trying to get England banned from the tour. It's not the football team. If you want to ban anyone, ban the England fans. I'm totally fine with that. I don't think anyone wants to go to Qatar anyway. Or just let them do it and let them get arrested and see how it's like to get arrested in Qatar, because they won't enjoy it. But the racism is ridiculous. Someone wrote over Marcus Rashford's mural in Manchester, but then a community came together and it turned out into something very nice, and that was good. Everyone's addressed it online. Rashford, Sancho. I don't know if Saka has, but I would assume he possibly has. But yeah, it's one of those, you're putting pressure on these kids. They're probably the most important game of their lives. Definitely the most important game. I don't think any of them have been in a game of this caliber, and shit happens. If Italy had 2 penalties saved, we just had 2 penalties saved and Rashford missed it. It didn't go our way on the day as much as we wanted it to. A big shame. But, well done to Italy. That's the part of the tournament. No, only one team can win in the end. Only if it was Italy on the other side, would it be the same for us? Would it be the same for them? Probably not, because they don't have our level of media coming after us, our level of everything, But what can I say? That's all I have to say on the Euros. I don't know if you have anything else.
No, I don't think much else. I think definitely pretty deserved for Italy to win. They were great throughout the tournament, great in that last game. Yeah, just a shame that it's what was a really good tournament and with some great stories in it, like Denmark getting all the way through to semi-finals. Does seem to have been a bit tainted with some of the actions from some fans in the final.
Yeah, well, I don't want to say it was made worse by the fact that this is we're just out of COVID and everyone's going a bit mental, but there's no excuse. You know, these people, if they're caught, they should be punished. They should be banned for life.
So there have been five arrests for racist comments so far towards the English players.
Yeah, 50-year-old man, I think, was arrested for online comments against Marcus Rashford. A group chat is being investigated because images leaked from it. I don't know if someone maybe put them out there to, you know, just either show off, or if their friend was like uncomfortable and put it out there. But yeah, like they're getting investigated, and rightly so. While there are issues with people saying social media should have like an ID verification system, there definitely are issues with that. At the same time, we need to do something to combat it, and if that's what solves this problem, that's what needs to happen. I mean, there's not much else to say on that matter. I would rather live in a world where people are less racist, because let's be honest, we're not getting rid of everyone's racism, but less racist than we live in it now, you know, without doing this act. But yeah, we won't end it on a sour note. Well done to Italy. Great tournament overall. Denmark, great. France, unlucky. Maybe you'll win the World Cup next year. Switzerland looked great, very unlucky as well. And the England football team, their best position in a Euros tournament, their first final in 55 years. Great from them. We don't want to sound too negative about the England team. I think we can both say they performed so well throughout the tournament, and while there were times such as Scotland, such as the final, where we thought they could do better, overall, much better than we expected, and we're looking forward to the World Cup, but I don't know about football, international football in November, December. I don't know how that's going to turn out. I don't know, have they said anything about the season, how that's going to be changed?
Well, I'm assuming there's going to be a winter break, but that kind of has to be. But I don't think, or I haven't seen anything anyway of definitive of what's going to happen.
Well, we'll find.